We are already halfway through 2026, and usually this is the time where we ask ourselves that where did that time go? And it's not always exciting, and sometimes we worry about not having control over our time because maybe you're not where you thought you would be right now. And while this is just a temporary moment, it feels everything is taking longer. Maybe some of your routines did not work out, or your life feels messy. Maybe you just feel like you are actually surviving than you are living and enjoying. So, today I want to do a gentle mid year reset for the rest of 2026. This will help you pause and take the control back of your life again so that you can feel better about how your 2026 ends. I think mid-year reset matters because we don't always stop and check in with ourselves just to see what is working versus what is not. We keep going, we keep scrolling, we keep moving on with life without thinking too much, but at the same time, the loops that are not being closed inside your head keeps accumulating and you start feeling more burdened with it over times. You feel heavy and life happens and months pass, and then we suddenly realize that something needs to change, and that's why it's important to stop and have a moment to ourselves. If you feel behind, I don't think the answer is to push harder, rather to be more intentional about how you want your life to feel. Sometimes the answer is to pause and ask better questions. The questions can be simple, like what is working for me, what is draining me, and what is taking up so much space in my head that I want to change about, or what am I avoiding because I have made it feel much bigger in my head than actually it is. Because it happens so often, and we start imagining the entire process step by step inside our head before it actually happens, that it starts to feel very daunting, and often we don't even start because of that. So, today I want to zoom out a little, not just think about the process, but think about the outcome. It is very important to slow down because we are often so busy dealing with life issues, deadlines, relationships that we forget to slow down, and it actually starts to drain us. And no matter what, even if you have a little bit time in hand, it seems you can't even relax. So it's important to slow down from time to time and just pause. It's not necessarily that you have to be productive in those wasting time as well by reading something or doing some kind of work at the same time to make you feel that you are being productive outside of work. It's important that you take a pause and just be there present in the moment. What I like to do is I tend to start my day a bit earlier than I usually do and then take 5 to 10 minutes for journaling. It just helps to dump my thoughts and worries, but at the same time, it helps me to reflect better over time. And I will be sharing 3 prompts today that I am using to reset the rest of my 2026. The first question I'm asking is what from the first half of 2026 has worked for me so far? And on the same note, what helped me to feel more like myself? For the second question, be honest with yourself and ask what from the first half of 2026 is no longer serving you. I think it's important to acknowledge the things that gives us temporary happiness but then makes us feel bad about ourselves later, so that we can start improving ourselves from there. Because if we don't name them, then they usually keep running in the background. Another thing I think really helps is to keep a small notebook and a pen with you always, because first it helps you to stay away from your phone. You don't need to use your phone's notebook or Google Keep to take a note, and then second, you can use it throughout the day to plan something, to write down some thoughts, some reminders, whatever it is, because you don't have to solve everything immediately and you don't have to keep it inside your head. You can just write it down in the notebook, and it kind of feels very uplifting. The third question I would like to address is what's under my control? Because there are always things that we can control, for example, our behaviors, our actions, and then there are things that we cannot control, for example, timing, other people, life changes. So it's better to focus on what things needs your attention, because not everything needs your energy and attention, and often we burden ourselves with overwhelming information from outside. So be intentional about the things you read or consume throughout the day, because that literally shapes your mind and your thoughts and how you perceive life. I would also encourage you to visualize the end of December. How do you want to see yourself at the end of December? You must have some priorities or some things in your mind that you want to accomplish by the end of December. And even if you can accomplish just one of them, how would it make you feel? The hardest part is starting. I know that because often I feel the same. I feel the most resistance while starting something. For example, this YouTube video. This is my first talking head video, and it's taking so much time for me to be comfortable in front of the camera and not feeling very conscious about the way that I'm speaking or the way that I'm looking, but I'm still trying to be uncomfortable and overcome that, because growth is uncomfortable. You have to push yourself, it's important. And then the fun starts. You start to enjoy the process. Don't overthink much about the process, rather just start and see how does it feel. And if it does not feel good, you can always quit, right? I hope these 3 prompts would help you to reflect your first half of 2026 better and gives you more clarity. So after the 3 prompts, I'm making 2 lists. The first one is short-term goals for the next 2 weeks. And then the second list is long-term goals, the things I want to accomplish by the end of 2026, which is December 31st. So I am not doing this to overwhelm myself. Rather, I'm putting everything down in this notebook. Sometimes when everything stays inside your head, it starts to feel intimidating and bigger than it actually is. But I feel like when you start writing this down, you can already visualize yourself doing these things, and it starts from there. You can imagine what it might feel to finish them already. And I think it matters because we often focus on how uncomfortable things will be once we start, the time it will take, the energy it will need, and the discipline it will take. But sometimes it's not important to feel these details. It's important to ask ourselves, how would we feel once we are at the finish line? And if the goal is important to me, if it is doable, then maybe the discomfort is a sign that you are becoming and you are getting there, closer to the version that you want to be. So after writing my short-term and long-term goals, I think it becomes easier to see what my top priorities are for the rest of 2026. But because there are so many things we want to do at the same time, and then we do not have the time, energy, or capacity to do them all, we don't even start with any one of them. So it's always important to start. At the same time, I also want you to remember that be realistic. Don't fill your plate with too much all the time, because you will feel exhausted. So I want to leave you with this. The goal is not to become a new person overnight. The goal is to notice what is not working, making you feel less like yourself, and what you can change from the things that are actually under your control. Maybe slower mornings or less mindless scrolling. Maybe more rest or one small thing every day that makes you feel more connected to yourself. Because at the end of the day, I think so much of this comes back to the peace of mind. Feeling content with your life, feeling like you are not abandoning yourself. So if you are doing your own mid-year reset, write down your 3 priorities for the rest of 2026 And if you feel comfortable, comment on one of them below. I would love to know what you are choosing for yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you very soon. Till then, take care.